welcome to Pokésports, a competitive Pokemon podcast. I'm Mike, and although I stayed at home, I play with 2 Pokemon on the field sometimes.
I'm Kevin. I've been awake since 4 a.m. Hello.
Wow.
Tired,
Why
man.
have you been awake since 4 a.m., Kevin?
I was on the plane coming back to the beautiful land of Jersey.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I've always wanted to be in the most densely populated state in the United States.
Is that true?
Everyone stand next to me very close. Yes, that is. We are actually the densest populated state.
Wow. Because whenever I go to Jersey, I always think, wow, look at how spacious it is.
You thought Newark was spacious? There was literally 4 families above us in the Airbnb.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
You know what? We were not alone, yeah.
No, you're right. Wow, that's so
You remember
true.
all
Oh my
that parking, walking down the street and not finding any?
There were like 3 places we went to in Jersey that had all the space. And then maybe you take a 30-minute drive little closer to New York.
We have suburbs in Jersey, yes.
Yeah. But like your suburbs are really big.
Yeah.
But your city is
we're all on top of each other.
Really packed.
Yeah. I mean, in Jersey, when it comes to cities, it's actually most of the population can probably stem out of like maybe 5 cities. So it's like that's congratulations. Welcome to your geography lesson, everybody. So that'd be like Jersey City, Elizabeth, Newark, Camden, Trenton. Those are like the main cities. Everything else is just trees and bears.
Bears populate most of Jersey.
That's where the density comes from.
Right.
The bears.
Right. The second most bipedal sometimes species in Jersey is a bear. Also,
we have the most black bears in the country.
Interesting.
Good job, Jersey. We did it. We're number black 1 in 2 things. We were also the number 1 state that can't pump their own gas. The 1 out of 1.
That part was really weird.
What, seeing me hand a card to someone, be like, fill it up regular? Like,
yeah. Especially because like I had to fill up my car on gas, like going to the airport probably that day. Mm-hmm. Seeing you sit in your car and watch somebody else pump gas, I don't trust it.
It's even funny because I think when we were going to Hartford as well, and we stopped at a gas station, everyone's like, are you sure you know how to do this, Kevin? You need help? I'm like, guys, hold up. I don't know how to, I know how to do it. I just don't have to.
Right. Do you charge extra? Do you have to tip?
No. Some people do, but most people don't. Okay. Yeah.
Do you think like gas station attendants, they just wait for the day that like a really expensive car pulls up and like Drake or like Mr. Beast or like, I don't know, Barack Obama comes walking out of the car. Mm-hmm. They're like, fill her up. They can fill her up.
They don't even say
like $3,000.
They already know they want platinum.
Yeah.
Some people like will clean your windows for you too.
Whoa.
Oh, that's where you tip them. If they they clean a window, you give them like $1.
Do you ask them to?
You can. Oh. There is an option. They all have squeegees on the side.
Wow. I've learned something new.
Welcome to Jersey.
Welcome to Jersey. I guess you can do that in Canadian gas stations too. You can ask somebody to pump your gas. It's just sometimes they won't do it.
Do you have attendants there?
No.
Oh, okay.
You got people sitting inside like a little gas station house.
Do your gas stations close?
No.
See, ours do because we have attendants. Not all of them. Some of them stay open 24 hours. But how
do you drive around at 4 a.m.?
There's just a person that sits there at 4 a.m.
Wow. That sounds a little dangerous.
Ain't my life.
Okay. Let's talk about things that are your life. We've got lots of Pokemon that's gone on over the past week. The biggest of all being Regulation D. And I thought when you said this that we've already talked about Regulation D. I was like, we've definitely
we've just predicted it, right?
We just predicted it almost spot on.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that we did that. It was a good prediction.
It was kind of an obvious next step, but I'm glad they didn't like go completely off course and do something crazy.
There were a couple things that weren't super obvious, and we'll go over everything that's going on. Anyways, Regulation D is starting July 1st, goes until September 30th of this year. So this will be our Worlds format. It's a very long one, isn't it?
What's after July? August, and then September. 3 months.
There
Another
you go.
3 months.
3 months.
Okay.
It feels long though, right?
Well, that's because they're usually 2 months. 3 months is actually uncommon.
Oh, that's true. You know why though? No, that's not true either. I was going to say, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't have been for Worlds. But Worlds goes through the middle of August.
Yeah, but I mean, there could be regionals immediately following Worlds for the next season. That happens often. That's
fair. So this kind of like takes it to the end of the immediate season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure. So yeah, this goes on for 3 months. The doubles rule set. You can use any of the national Pokemon from the Pokedex, but you can also bring in a handful of Pokemon that are coming in through Pokemon Home.
Spicy.
A lot less Pokemon than we originally thought were coming from Home because of the DLC.
Yeah,
DLC is going to introduce a lot more Pokemon, reintroduce a lot more Pokemon.
They paywalled a lot of our friends, folks. It's all good. We get it.
But what they didn't paywall are legendaries, mythics, starters, some starters, a handful of starters.
Yeah, a handful of legends, handful of starters.
And regional variants.
Right. Every regional variant, we can at least say. Yeah, we can at least use those.
So you've got Alolan, you've got Galarian, you've got Hisuian. Is that it?
Paldean. Well, that was already in the
course.
Game. Those already were there. And it's only one of them, or two of them.
You can bring in a Paldean Wooper.
Congratulations, Pooper. You're competitive now.
Yay. But yeah, a large handful of starters, all of the regional variants, and of course the Hisuian mons are a big point of topic here.
The ones that I was surprised by is I totally understand them not allowing mythics because they never did. Except for like super late in the season. I wasn't surprised about restricteds because it's not time yet. Restricteds will have a time and a place. But I was surprised by them not allowing Walking Wake or Iron Leaves.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
Like, why not? Those are neither restricted or mythic, and you just released them.
At what point do you add them though? Are you considering them mythic now? Are we considering Walking Wake and Iron Leaves mythic Pokemon?
I have a theory.
Okay.
And this theory, with the way this game has been going, I believe it. I think they are not allowing them into the game because of their exclusivity. You can't technically get them right now.
Sure.
And at some point, you weren't able to get them before because they turned into a bad egg. So I think it's their exclusivity is making them mythic in Pokemon's eyes. Unless in the DLC, you just got Walking Wakes everywhere. And then, okay, now it's inclusive. Now we can use it. But yeah,
that's a good point. They might have to put Walking Wakes and Iron Leaves just kind of moseying around.
Yeah, if that's going to be competitive. Because, like, think about it this way. Like, if I wanted to build a Walking Wake team right now, but hey, I missed the first two releases, I can't. And someone that didn't miss it is now allowed to use Hydro Steam on their Sun team, and I can't.
Yeah, anybody who started playing the game last week and beat the game today cannot get Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, and that is the only... Yeah, those are the only two Pokemon, I believe, that's the case for.
And I guess you can make a case to say, oh, but Charizard was exclusive for that one weekend. Oh, but blah, blah, blah was exclusive for that one weekend. You can make eggs, though.
You can make eggs, yes, but also now you can bring them in from home.
Yes.
And bring them in from home means you can go and play 20 seconds of Pokemon Red and somehow get them in there eventually.
You can open go.
Yeah.
and choose a Charmander.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that could be it. If they introduce Walking Wake Iron Leaves in Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Then
fair.
now we have a through line to Scarlet Violet. That's not bad.
They're nowhere close to Paldea and Go though. But yeah, I get you.
I mean, they brought in Gimmighoul.
That's true. They don't have to go in order.
They don't care to go in order. They just go however they go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They do it for the money.
Money. So yeah, that's our theory that we just concocted right now.
It's
live.
No, you know what? It's good to bounce those ideas off each other. It's real good. The Pokemon that aren't coming in though, we've got lots of the legendaries and restricted. So things like Mewtwo, things like Mew, Pokemon where, you know, they're
in home. Just to clarify, they're in home, but they're not in Reg.
They are in home. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. You can bring them in.
Yeah.
You can go onto the water with your Groudon. It will surf along the water on a little floating raft. It's very funny to see.
It makes an island.
You can use an Eternatus to hyper beam an Azurill and have a lot of fun with that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You can do it. Have I done it? Maybe.
If you really want.
Maybe one time.
But just not in Reg D.
But just not in Reg D. But the Pokemon that are coming back, we've got things like Hisuian Arcanine or Galarian Slowbro and Alolan Muck. We've talked about all of these Pokemon in the previous episode. So if you want our thoughts on what'll be good, what'll be interesting, you can hear our pre-discussion last week. But since then, there has been a lot of development on Showdown with people already experimenting. Kevin, have you seen people experimenting with Reg D?
I honestly have not been paying too much attention to Reg D simply because I was in Wisconsin playing Reg C when it was announced. I've taken a look at it. From what I can tell, it's like a lot of Urshifus. Like Urshifu is scary. Regirock was banned from OU within hours. Fun fact, they nerfed Regirock a little bit.
In what way?
Transistor is no longer a 1.5 times boost. They lowered it to a 1.3.
Oh, so it's a Life Orb now instead of a choice.
Yeah, instead of a free choice specs.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is a big nerf. Like that is like when you're doing as much damage as a Lecky is, 0.2% or 0.2 multiplier is a big number, right?
Definitely. Yes.
0.2 of a billion is a couple million.
You tried. Yeah.
They know what I'm talking about. I'm not a number guy.
I've been seeing a lot of people experimenting with Ursaluna. I've been seeing
everyone loves that thing.
Oh, for sure. I've been seeing a lot of clickbaity thumbnails being like, Ursaluna is broken. This thing can't be stopped.
A lot of the genies. Oh, I think something we didn't mention last week because we didn't know. All of the genie moves get 100% accuracy in rain. Like the new exclusive moves, the storm moves.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, except for Springtide Storm, which is the Enamorous one, which is a weird decision.
Of all.
Yeah.
I do like that they're giving... So this is in rain?
Yeah, only rain. So like, I don't know what they're called, but they're typically a Hyper Beam version of Flying type, of Electric type, and of Ground type. And I guess also of Fairy type.
Interesting. I think that's really smart to give a lot more incentive to rain, because right now there's growing incentive for sun, and we're going to need something to combat that. Otherwise, Groudon is just going to run wild. Otherwise, Sunsetters are just going to run wild. I'm looking at like Sandsear Storm. Okay.
I'm about to blow your mind a little bit more.
Oh, my mind.
Mike. I'm just trying to confirm that this is the way that it works before I say it on a podcast. Oh, yep. I'm about to blow your mind, Mike. So these storm moves, we weren't able to know this in Hisui because it was just a 1v1 kind of game. There were no doubles battles. These storm moves act the same way Origin Pulse and Precipice Blades do. They hit both sides of the enemy side of the field and not your side.
Oh.
Yeah, they're spread.
Oh,
a base
no.
100 spread move, 80% accuracy, but 100% accuracy in the rain. They also all have secondary effects. I'm going to remind you about something else.
Uh-huh.
Which genie gets Sheer Force?
That would be Lando.
Sheer Force, Life Orb, Lando in rain. That gets Sheer Force, Life Orb boosted. And you could also Terra Ground it.
No!
That's going to be a fun one.
That's going to be so powerful. Okay, wow.
Mike's holding his head right now.
I had to double check Sandsear Storm because I was like, no way it bypasses accuracy and rain for Sandsear Storm. Yes,
it
weird,
does.
very weird that now you can play Landorus in a rain team using Sandsear Storm, bypassing accuracy unless the target is in a semi-invulnerable turn like Dig, Fly, Phantom Force, that kind of thing. Phantom Force is the one of those three that would happen sometimes. But and that can be affected by Sheer Force. Wow.
Yeah, these are wild.
That's a little much.
This also gives a reason to use
Varian.
Yeah, to use an Incarnate Lander is short, but I was also going to say Aetherian Thunderous, the special attacker.
Oh,
and now gets a really good electric move. And it's really fast, it hits really hard. And I think it has like a very high special attack stat, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Thunderous has 145 special attack.
Yikes.
Varian. Yeah.
And 101 speed, that's not bad. You underspeed a
bad.
Charizard, not Charizard, a Garchomp, but you outspeed a Charizard. You're in that speed tier.
Defenses are pretty trash.
We don't worry about those.
We don't worry about those.
We put a sash on it. We think about it later.
I mean, we've got wind. Yeah, right. We've got Wind Bolt Storm. What does that one do? Oh, it could also leave them with paralysis. What? So you have Wind Bolt Storm, which can paralyze.
Yeah, they all
Two
do
Pokemon.
Something. Yeah, I think it's a 10% chance. It doesn't say. What does Sandsear Storm
can
do?
leave them with a burn.
Oh, okay. Oh, Sandsear, Hot Sand, got it.
Yep.
And I'm
Scorching
guessing
Sands.
Wind does something else.
Bleak Wind Storm. This may also lower the speed stats.
That makes
of opposing
sense.
Pokemon.
And I think the Springtide Storm confuses. So they all do something.
I will say, I think Bleak Wind Storm, at first glance, seems like the weakest of them.
You think speed control is weak, Tom?
It's a 30% chance.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
fair.
Like when it comes to status, a 30% chance to get a status move
Get a
is
permanent
really strong.
status is a lot better than a stat
Yeah.
drop that you can switch out of. Yeah, that's fair.
Now, if that bypassed chance in the rain, that would be amazing.
100% accuracy. Paralyzed. That's what we need in the meta.
Yeah, it's what's the attack that lowers speed on both Pokemon?
Icy Wind.
Yeah, that's the one. Perfect. Just makes it an Icy Wind. A 100 power Icy Wind.
Yes, a strong Icy Wind. The iciest wind.
The super cold wind. What's Thunderous's or Tornadous's special attack like? 110, 125 incarnate, 111 base speed. Oh,
it's fast. Yeah,
this thing does damage.
Yeah, that's gonna take over rain metas. Tornadus plus Kyogre just got like a Tornogre just evolved tremendously.
Oh, yeah, Tornogre evolved. Wow.
We can't use Ogre right now, but Tornogre
eventually.
is gonna evolve. I guess the Torniper is what we're gonna be using for a little bit, because sadly we don't have another rain setter in this in Reg D. We still only have to use Pelipper.
When are we getting Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC?
It's fall 2023 and then winter 2023.
So probably after September, probably in October.
Yeah. So that's probably Reg E is going to be
I
DLC
wonder what
one.
Reg E is going to be though, because if
DLC
they don't,
one.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
if they release it during October, there's going to be this weird like couple of days where they can't do it. You know, like from October 1st until say October 20th or whatever. Assuming that's when it comes out.
I guess I could just have Reg D. They're probably also going to release some sneak peeks in there. I don't know. I guess we'll see what they decide to do. Unless, maybe it'll be ready. It won't be ready. Never.
No.
It won't be ready. Maybe a ban list after Worlds.
I can't see them. Yeah, I can't see them doing. Oh, a ban list might be interesting.
Yeah, the post-World ban list. It's what they did with the Players Cup 1. They had Players Cup 1, then they introduced the ban list.
That would be actually really, really cool. Putting in a Scarlet Violet ban list. That would be no Ursaluna, no Fluttermane, no Urshifu, based on what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
What would the meta be like if Fluttermane didn't exist?
Golden Go.
Let's get to a flashback. That's the sound of a flashback.
It's going to be Golden Go Murkrow. That's what it's going to be. Everywhere.
Everywhere.
So yeah, that's Reg D. I'm excited to use a couple of these Pokemon. I'm excited to use Heatran a lot. I don't know why. I just feel like Heatran is gonna perform a lot better than people anticipated to. I don't know if it's gonna be like top tier, but I just think it improved so much. I think Rillaboom is gonna be absolutely hideous.
Why is that?
In a good way. Grass Terra. We can calc this. You're the calc guy. Grass Terra, Wood Hammer on grassy terrain with like a choice band is hilarious amount of multipliers.
That's true.
So times 2 times 1.3 times. Right. Yeah, you go for it.
I'll do this for you right now.
Make it hit who should it hit? Make it hit Sobble. Want to see how much?
we'll do a joke one, and then we'll do like an actual set.
Good solo water type.
So in grassy terrain, Rillaboom going for a Wood Hammer. Nature Adamant, of course. Ability is grassy terrain, but it doesn't really. Grassy Surge doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it does. 1.3 times boost.
Having the grassy surge ability doesn't matter. Having the grassy terrain on the field does. Yeah.
I guess you can calc it against the +2 Dondozo, see what happens.
Very good. Very good. Very good. All right. So +2 defense Dondozo. There we go. We have it jolly right now, but let's make it bold because why not? That should be about the build. Yep. 252 defense. Why not?
Did you give it choice band?
I did give the Rillaboom choice band. Yes. We're just looking at Wood Hammer with 252 attack with grassy terrain and choice band adamant. Yep. Let's see. So even that,
did you terragrass it?
I didn't. I didn't terrassalize it. There you go. Okay. 252 plus attack, choice band, grass terra type Rillaboom, Wood Hammer versus I guess I have a +4 HP, a +2 defense, 4 HP, 252 defense, Dondozo, bold in grassy terrain. That does 83.1 to 99.1% damage. So that almost KOs.
You got
almost OKOs.
You got to wood hammer it and then you got to tickle it. And then it's wow. But no Dondozos goes max HP, max defense. Did you say max HP, max defense?
Nah, it's like 4 HP max defense, but
no one does max defense anyway.
Nobody does that. Yeah.
So most Dondozos you will KO on the planet.
Aaron Trailer's Grass Terra Dondozo could never. That's 252 attack. That's a guaranteed OKO on Aaron Trailer's Dondozo.
Yeah, take that, Aaron Trailer.
Destroyed.
So yeah, that's gonna do a lot of damage. I think that's gonna be really fun. We already talked about Regirock got nerfed, but is still pretty good. But what's funny about Regirock is that Transistor got nerfed, but Dragon's Maw didn't on Regidrago. So they kept Regidrago at 1.5, but not.
They knew what was happening.
They knew. They had a feeling. I get it.
Yeah. They good.
Yeah. I think Enamorous.
Okay.
Specifically Therian is really cool. That's really going to be really good in Trick Room. And this one's kind of a pocket pick. I have a theory that, not theory, I have an inkling of a belief that Basculegion is going to be strong in rain. You get adaptability, Water Terra, Choice Banded, Aqua Jets in the rain.
Right. We're just looking at
from
a raw numbers perspective. Yeah, they're really, really good.
If you really want to go hard, you also have access to Wave Crash. So you can hurt a lot.
I don't know. Enamorus is an interesting one to me because I feel like we're already speccing so hard into steel moves that it's coming in against teams that are already built to take it down. Flying is a scary type to have as well. The secondary typing.
The reason why I think Enamorus is going to be good is like beyond the stats.
Sure.
The flying typing actually helps it a lot against Tinglu.
Oh, of course.
And then being able to hit it with fairy moves back helps a lot against Tinglu as well. And the other cool thing about this mon is that although it doesn't outspeed Amoonguss in Trick Room, it gets overcoat. So powder moves don't work against it. So that means no Spore, no Rage Powder, nothing. So you can ignore Rage Powders, hit the Amoonguss with like a flying type move. Does it even get any flying types moves?
It might.
It's a flying type Pokemon.
Sure.
It gets flying type Terra Blast if you really want to go there.
There you go. We'll find out.
I'm looking. I don't think it does. You might have to do flying type Terra Blast.
Wow, really? Does it? Oh my gosh, it doesn't really, does it?
Not that I see, no. I'm just scrolling.
I see Fly.
There you go. That's the
Fly,
move.
Tailwind. Fly and Tailwind are the two flying moves that Enamorus gets, period.
That's a little sad, but it does get other coverage moves, so I guess it's okay.
Sure. Yeah, there are things you can do. The thing I find interesting about Enamorus is it fits a certain type of demographic that I think Iron Hands fits quite well right now, which is a Pokemon that looks like it can handle itself well in Trick Room, but you don't actually need to be in Trick Room to use it. You see a ton of teams right now with Iron Hands on it with zero intention of having any kind of mon to set up a Trick Room on that team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enamorus has so much defense, so much special defense that it can probably live a hit and then hit back. And that is powerful. That's powerful. It's a little different than Iron Hands in that, Iron Hands had the fake out to really, threaten the other team. And Enamorus doesn't really have that. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic on Enamorus. I think it'll be pretty decent.
Showdown just released the Reg D ladder today at the time that we're recording this. So it's 2 days from when you guys are listening to the pod. So it's going to be a while till we get used to stats. Unfortunately, I want to know what is good. Hopefully if Picolytics gets on that, because typically Griffin's great with this kind of thing.
Yeah,
we'll see. It all just depends on what Showdown releases or what they're willing to share with Picolytics.
For sure. I really want to see it. I'm so curious what people are going to use. Almost certainly is going to be what we're all thinking it's going to be.
Yeah,
which is just Ursaluna on top, or Urshifu on top, or
Ursaluna is at least gonna be top 10 right away.
I would say top 3. Personally, I think top 3.
It's a bear that doesn't care about Fluttermane. I think that looking at this series, this might be the death of Fluttermane with just like what is coming into the meta. Fluttermane doesn't like a lot of these Pokemon.
So the reason that you brought up Dondozo, are you saying that Dondozo is not going to die?
I think Dondozo might be gone with Regirock entering. Yeah. Regirock, Rillaboom. There's a lot of, even Thundurus, there's a lot of strong ways to deal with them.
Sure.
Zapdos.
I was immediately distracted looking at Enamorus and its level up moveset. Did you see what it gets at level 60?
Enamorus level 60?
That's Healing Wish, baby.
Uh-oh. I wonder if it still works the same. Too bad that Ally Switch isn't as popular. It's hard to find an Ally Switcher now.
Yeah.
It's
also like it was the whole double HP thing that really made it broken.
Yeah.
I will explain. So here's the whole thing in Sword and Shield. You had Healing Wish. Healing Wish KOs your Pokemon, puts a Healing Wish aura on that slot. So if you had Pokemon 1, Pokemon 2, Pokemon 1 uses Healing Wish, it goes down. The next Pokemon that comes in place of Pokemon 1, if it's damaged, it will heal back up to full. If it's not damaged, it will wait until a Pokemon enters that slot with damage. So in Dynamax meta, in Sword and Shield, you Dynamaxed the second Pokemon number 2. It would get really big. It would double its HP. It would take a hit. You'd almost never OHKO a Dynamax Mon. It was toxic like that. You'd have the Pokemon that came in use Ally Switch. And the way that worked is when the Dynamax Pokemon entered the Ally Switched area, it considered that a damaged Pokemon entering the slot. And it would heal up your Dynamax Pokemon all the way back up to full. And there are often times where you could go from red HP back up to like 404 HP with certain Pokemon like Solgaleo. That was a big one for me.
Spice.
It was the spice.
It was the process. You got to trust the process.
You got to trust the process. And I did that at NAIC. I bought a whole plane ticket so that I could use Healing Wish a lot.
And you sure did.
Yep.
Incredible.
Fun fact about Sneasler. The Dire Claw is its signature move. 80 attack damage, 100% accuracy, 15 PP. What happens is there's a high crit chance on this move. Mm-hmm. There is a 50% chance to poison, paralyze, or sleep the contact, so the target. And on top of that, if you have Poison Touch, which I will say isn't the best ability that this Pokemon gets, because this Pokemon does get Unburden, but if you have Poison Touch, that Poison Touch takes place after the fact. So you still have a 30% chance above it all to get a poison.
That's really cool. Maybe that's actual use case to use Poison Touch.
Maybe. The only problem is it kind of makes your ability useless if you get another status before, which is a 50% chance of happening.
You build around that. You don't. Yeah, I guess so. That's true.
It's so hard. It's so hard to say Unburden isn't the better. Like, it's always going to be the better ability. Such a good move.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So that is Regulation D. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to see what happens on Showdown for the next couple of days. And then even more excited to see what happens when the actual meta drops on cartridge. So, hey, good job, Pokemon, for putting that together. I appreciate it. You deserve it. Yep, that one's for you. Oh, Pikachu had some words.
Pikachu had something to say. Oh.
What's that? Regirock's here.
Is there anyone in the crowd who believes these two should not be wed? On.
P.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's good. Hey, a lot of regionals.
Yeah, we had quite the handful of regionals. One particularly is a little bit more important to me, but
sure. And so let's talk about that first. We've got Santiago Regionals over in Chile.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. That happened June 4th. 131 players. Kevin was not one of them. 131 Masters players playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet over in Chile. Awesome sauce. Really cool to see. Looks like the winner was Gabriel Agati, to no one's surprise.
Pretty good player.
Oh, no, that's before the event. Oh, that's CP standings. Oh, we don't even have the winners. We don't know.
That's why it sounded confusing to me. I was like, what?
Because it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know if that one happened.
Or maybe
yet.
It was. I don't know.
No, I think what was it? Turin happened this weekend.
Turin also happened. Yeah, Turin,
Italy.
Mhm.
They should have winners.
You'd think so.
I think the Worm won that one. I could be wrong.
Schlurm?
Schlurm. Not my Schlurm, sadly.
Not my Schlurm. The winner of that tournament was Nico Davide Cognetta, who won 200 championship points, 200 CP. Right now, at the time of recording, we are still very fresh out of the tournaments happening. It just happened over the weekend.
I just came home.
Yeah, Kevin just came home from that. So they don't have standings in their Pokemon teams. So we'll make sure to, circle back on that next week. So we don't spend too much time on that. We've already come pretty deep into that. However, I will say Turin, Italy, for it just being classified as a special event, 582 players.
Yeah.
In Italy.
The only thing, I don't know what the actual difference between special event and regionals is. The only thing that I could possibly think of is one is actually streamed out by Nintendo or by Pokemon, and one isn't. Because one does give CP and like regional level CP, but they're just called special events.
It would definitely be interesting to hear how much hand-holding Pokemon gives to their regionals, to their nationals, to Worlds. Obviously, they have a much larger stake in, but I'm sure they help out quite a bit for a lot of their events.
For the ISCs, they help out entirely. Like they decide where they go and what is happening. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's Turin and Santiago. We do have Milwaukee as well, happened over the weekend. June 3rd and 4th, 563 players, which is less than Turin, Italy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, we were in the Midwest.
Yeah. But yeah, still 563 players. So in total that weekend, between the three of them, that's math I want to know. That's 100% math I want to know. So we've got 563 players from Milwaukee. We've got, how many was that from Santiago? That's 131. And then Turin had 582. So we had 1,276 Masters players playing Pokemon this weekend.
Wow.
Really cool. Really cool stuff. But yes, the tournament happened again. We don't have stats this week, but we do have Kevin.
Hello.
And Kevin went.
Yes.
Congratulations on participating.
Congratulations on going 5-4. Anytime, bad.
Tell me how you did.
So
What you did. All of it.
So I can honestly say that I know Mike's going to say something, but before you say anything, I didn't go Worm. I went Hard Trick Room. I don't regret it. I think I learned something about myself, and that's that I am a confident Hard Trick Room player, at least in the current meta. I understand how to play it, how to do well with it, and how to perform with it. That being said, we're going to get a big Kevin complaining corner about Kevin's luck. This is hilarious. I know I complain a lot about my luck. I get it. A lot of people are salty about it. It's mostly a meme most of the time. I'm not actually that unlucky. I do win games, and sometimes I do get like hacks on my side. When I tell you,
yeah,
the few times that I did lose this weekend were because of rock slide flinches.
Yeah.
And I guess looking back at it, yes, I did have a way around that. I had Covert Cloak on an Armor Rouge. Sure. I guess I'll tell you what team I rocked with first, so that you guys get a little bit of a context.
There were a few times Kevin was keeping me up to date live on what was going on Discord while he was competing. And there was one certain thing that I'll let him say, and I'm sure it's on your list of things to talk about.
Got a lot of things to say, yeah.
That made me go, oh no, you had the worst luck.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're telling me about Covert Cloak Armor Rouge.
All right, quick rundown of my team. I got Hatterene, Indeedee, Brute Bonnet, Armor Rouge, and Azumarill, which I called Gold Greg, because it's shiny, and King Gambit.
Okay.
So the first ambitious thing about my team that I don't actually hate was that I decided to run hard Trick Room with no Torkoal because I wanted to run an Azumarill because I was struggling a lot against Ting-Lus, and Azumarill can easily take care of Ting-Lus, as can Brute Bonnet. So my strategy most of the time when I see a T-Tar, when I see a Garchomp, when I see Pokemon that, don't really care about size spam or dark types, when I see a lot of dark types, I don't bring Armarouge. That's just the way that my brain is functioning. But Armarouge had my Covert Cloak. That would have stopped me from flinching because the win condition for my opponent was don't let him set Trick Room. Yes, that sure did stop me. So in two different games, so like 2 different sets, the opponent led with either a T-Tar or Garchomp. I think one game it was T-Tar, the other game it was Garchomp. They rock slided. I follow me Trick Roomed. I flinch on the Trick Room setter. I lose that match. Then the second game I play, the exact same thing. Follow me Trick Room, rock slide. I flinch on the rock slide. I was just like, okay, I lost. And then this happened in round 3 for me. Okay. And then it later happened again in round 7. So I did the whole thing where Kevin was 3-3, and then I was like, okay, I got to win out. Mm-hmm. Fine. Then I was 4-3, and then I was 5-3. It was the last round, 9th round of Swiss. There was a -6 Specs Chiyu.
This one broke my heart, by the way.
I got game one set.
Let me preface this by saying that this one put me firmly in the camp of I feel really bad for Kevin's RNG.
Mike, I didn't even tell you about the Premier Challenge I decided to do the next day. I'll get to that. No. You're completely in the dark about this Premier Challenge. I didn't complain to you at all about it. So what ended up happening was the Chiyu was -6 because of overheat, and it was spexed onto overheat. It was stuck. I knew it was stuck. I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave that slot alone. It's -4 now. I can't possibly get any worse. It's just gonna keep doing Chiyu things. And this is after 2 games of the best of 3. So I had a win. My opponent had a win. The Chiyu crits my Indeedee with the overheat, stopping me from setting Trick Room up again. And then I proceed to lose the battle.
Which is doubly painful. I'm assuming Psychic Seed and DD?
Mine was Safety Goggles, but okay. It was full health. There's no Indeedee on the planet that dies to -6 Chiyu.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah,
-6.
-6, yeah.
Yeah. It's the crit from a -6 Chiyu that was like, oh no, that's the one thing it can do.
Yeah, big sad.
Painful. Okay, but the Premier Challenge.
Yeah, so that was my regional experience. I went 5-4. Big sad. Mm-hmm. It's okay. I feel like I played well. Like that's why I don't feel bad. It's like, yes, I got Pokemon'd, but I felt like I played well. So I could just do it again and hopefully not get Pokemon'd, and we'll see what happens.
I think that's a good way of thinking about it for sure. I think that it really goes to show that you are a competent Pokemon player by being able to go that score with that many things happening to you with that team. Because hard Trick Room specifically in an open team sheet kind of setting is like you are showing your win condition just by the fact that you're playing a trendy team.
Yeah.
People know what hard Trick Room does, and people know how to counter it. And the fact that you can win in spite of that is really good.
Yeah, you just have to lead with Rock Slide.
You just need to lead with Rock Slide.
Where there's a Rock Slide, there's a way. So yeah, me and Harrison, I went with Harrison of the Game Corner podcast.
Yeah.
We both were really sad about how we did during the regionals. So you know what we thought was a great idea? Hey,
more Pokemon.
Let's just wake up and do it again. Do it all over again. But here's the thing about the Premier Challenge, which I was a little bit upset at first.
Okay.
It's best of 1 Swiss, not best of 3. I was a little upset about that because I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm Kevin. I'm usually the guy that loses game 1 and then wins game 2 and 3. That's like my thing. So I was like, if I just keep losing game 1s, I'm not gonna do any good.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I'm a little sussed out by this. But at the end, I really enjoyed it because we were done with it. We were done with 7 rounds of Swiss by noon.
Oh,
And we started at 9. That was such a good feeling.
Oh, that feels so good.
Yeah. It was a bang, 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 match done, match done.
I love that.
Yeah, so that Premier Challenge got it capped out at 128, but we only got around 75-ish. And that included juniors and seniors. So what was cool too was that I got to play juniors and seniors because they didn't have enough people in their division, so they just like melded in to our divisions, which is interesting because they don't get to play in top 8. But they still get CP if they get a high standing. That's the way that it works. So they're just playing for a high standing. And we're just playing to get to top 8 and then get a high standing. Cool. But back to what I was saying. I woke up that morning tired as all heck.
Yeah.
Open up my Arcanine Labs and see who my first opponent is. It's Mr. Marcos Perez, Moxie boosted.
No.
Round 1. I go against Moxie and his Wochen. He ends up beating me in that game. And that's the thing. That game is the only game I think I deserve to lose that whole day.
Oh, wow.
The other 2 battles that were unfortunate. And like, listen, I'll give that game to Moxie. He played me. He stalled out my Trick Room. I looked at him straight in the face. I said, honestly, my Switch is at 25% battery. I didn't know that they wouldn't provide docks. If you just stall me out, you'll probably win. And he's like, dude, you shouldn't have told me that. I'm like, okay. So that's how that went.
Moxie's a really good player.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the way he can explain Pokemon is like, ooh, it's beautiful.
It's funny because I'm about to go on another tangent. We went out to dinner with Moxie like maybe 2 nights before, and it's hilarious because identical. Like this is exactly what happened. He showed up late to dinner, got stuck in traffic, got to the table, ordered his food. We already had apps on the table and we had our food on the table, but we ordered like way too many apps. Okay. We just had a bunch of food on the table. He sits down. We go like around the table, and we're like, okay, what are you bringing? And we each tell him what we're bringing. He's like, oh, your team's bad. Oh, your team's bad. Oh, your team's bad. He goes there, tells us all of our teams are bad, and then after like maybe an hour, is like, okay, I gotta go to bed now. Gets up, takes all of our food, puts it in a box. And goes away and walks home. He went there, told us all of our teams are bad, took all of our food, and left.
I am 100% down for you fully exposing Moxie Boosted on the podcast right now.
I love the man so much.
For that. That's amazing.
In case you're having a hard time believing me, he even posted a video of him walking out of the bar because it was like a pub. We went to like a brat house, like for bratwurst and stuff.
Sure.
He posted the video of him walking out saying, just had dinner with the Pokésports guys. Told them their teams were bad and took their food. This is a W. Or like something like that.
He did it for content. No, you know what? He did it for I see what you're doing. You did it for the tweet. You're like, you know what? This is going to be a W tweet.
Here you go. I found it for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I want to see it.
It's a couple seconds long.
Oh, yeah. There it is. It's just, oh, it's a video too.
Yeah. Video tweet.
Truly just him walking down the street being like, I kind of met up with the Pokésports guys. He says kind of because he was late. he told
the
everyone their teams were bad and then walked away. Yeah. This was a bit. The whole thing was a bit. You can't convince me that the whole thing wasn't a bit. Wow.
So yeah, back to the PC. The other unfortunate thing to happen to me was I was going against the Fissure Tinglu, right?
Okay.
Tinglu represent.
Yeah.
I was going against the Fissure Tinglu, which is unheard of. People still use it, I guess. What ended up happening is that my opponent clicked Fissure to attempt to stop my Trick Room, right? He missed. I had an Oranguru on the team on different team, by the way. I decided to bring a different team to the PC. So I had an Oranguru on this team. I decided, okay, I could lose a lot of health on my King Gambit if he goes for a stopping tantrum. I'm not going to let him go for a stopping tantrum. I'm just trying to set up Swords Dance with my King Gambit and then sweep. I'm in Trick Room. They can't really do anything to me. So I was like, okay, I'm going to instruct him onto Fissure. So at least instead of doing damage to me, there's only a 30% chance he does damage to me.
Right.
Man connects with Fissure. One shots my Oranguru.
Oh, no.
And not just that. He also clicked Fissure that turn instead of stopping tantrum. And then one shot my King Gambit right beside me.
What?
I got double fissured in one turn. Again, I guess my fault. Yeah, sure, fine. I forced him onto it, but he was going to click it anyway. So, yeah, I don't know. That was a little. It's really hard to win when half your team is gone.
It's true.
And
it's
again,
true.
Keep in mind, best of one. So that was it. That was the game.
Well, actually, that is a good. Are you done talking about the
no, there's still
challenge?
one other thing that happened.
Tell me.
Okay, so in the Premier Challenge, I went 5 and 4. I went because it was best of 7. It was 7 rounds, so I went 4 and 3.
3, yeah.
First loss was to Moxie. I deserved that one. Second one was to Double Fissure Guy. Third one was the last round, and it's so sad because I checked my resistance, and I would have made top 8 if I won this dang game. Would have made top 8 if I won this dang game. It came down to Torkoal, full HP, Fire Terra Torkoal. My side, obviously, I'm Kevin. Yeah. Against a Bax Caliber, which, yes, is neutral to fire.
Yep.
With an Assault Vest. I was like, I got one play. I hit Eruption. Like, there's no play, right? That's my one play. Bax Caliber lived at legitimately 1 HP. It was a single targeted Eruption with Charcoal. Lived at 1 HP. And if anyone knows anything about damage calcs, typically living at 1 HP from 100 means it's a roll.
Yeah.
And I checked it.
It's a roll.
It was in the bottom 5% of the roll. Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yes. Big sad.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but you did get a lot of good games in there.
Yeah.
You did all right, kid. Not
Welcome
bad.
to Kevin's Complain Corner. I almost
Welcome
did it,
to
guys.
Kevin's Complaining Corner, yeah. I do want to segue from the Premier Challenge because it does kind of lead quite nicely, I guess, into something that's been going on in the APAC region of Pokemon. Anybody who's been in and around Pokemon Twitter for the past week would probably have heard of how Pokemon in Korea is currently under quite a bit of controversy.
Oh, yeah.
There was a headline shared by Nash VGC, and I have that in front of me right now. It's entitled "How Top Korean Players Ended Up DQ'd for Metronome." Now, I will say that is not the point of what is going on here. The fact that they used Metronome, it was the way that it was handled.
Mm-hmm.
It was the way that it led to that situation and what happened after it.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple things that you might want to know going into this, the Korean VGC format pre-COVID, this I'm paraphrasing from what Nash VGC said. They used to have 3 different IRL events that led up to finals in which everybody got CP. The people who won got CP.
Kind of like what we do. Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah. The circuit part is exclusive in Korea. It's Korea only. They have an independent circuit, as does Japan. The last IRL event like that was back in 2019. And the South Korean VGC community has never seen one since, which through COVID, that's understandable. They didn't bring it back as quickly this year. And again, I'm willing to kind of give a little bit of a pass on that as well. You know, if people are a little hesitant to get back into full scale IRL events, totally okay.
Yeah, different countries can go at different paces. Makes sense.
Last year, so I'll just straight up read what was said there. Last year, when Worlds was back, players were curious as to how Pokemon Korea planned to give invites. No explanations were made, and they proceeded with the Trainers Cup, which was the online tour, like before. After the tour, they suddenly announced that top 4 of Trainers Cup would be invited to day 2 at Worlds.
That's a little...
Yeah.
Okay.
This was excluding juniors and seniors since the tour was only eligible for masters. And if you've been around the Pokésports crew long enough, you know that we're heavy advocates for the kids playing Pokemon. So it's already not boding too well when I hear things like the juniors and seniors were excluded, because you gotta include them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just, pander to the older guys. They said then this year, again, they announced nothing until March. In March, they announced that our circuit would be written here. And then he links the Victory Road 2023 Trainers Cup, which pretty much says they gave invites to Trainers Cup for top 50 Korean players for each global challenge. And then the 150 players from each of those 3 competed in a best of 1 ladder tour. Top 4 gets day 2. Top 16 gets day 1 of Worlds. People were very frustrated.
That seems like that's anyone can do that. Yeah, like
everything was decided with 10 games of ladder.
You can get day 2 of Worlds where players like Joe UX9 and Wolf Glick are busting their butts to go to spend thousands of dollars attending tens of 20s regionals per year to get day 2, and you can get it in 10 games.
Right.
That's a little weird.
Not to mention the fact that the ladder system is less than stellar. There were people who were getting rematch after rematch in their best of ones.
You can manipulate it. Yeah, there was ways to manipulate it, which is
you can totally manipulate
silly.
It. Yeah. They then go on to say Pokemon Korea decided that this tour was invalid and that top 16 from this tour would get unqualified. So they rescinded their qualification. People who went top 16 here demanded compensation, and Pokemon Korea decided to give them an invite to next year's Trainers Cup.
That's not compensation.
That's not compensation.
That's negative compensation. Oh, wait till next year.
Try again next time.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. This I didn't know about this part. This, I'm going into the weeds now.
Mm-hmm. Reaching Trainers Cup is apparently just getting 1600 in global 1600 MMR in global challenge, which isn't necessarily difficult for those who could make it to top 16 in the first place. Just getting a free pass in isn't a major feat for them in this case. Let's see. This was a devastating message implying our format will remain this way next year. That's a fair point as well. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks later, we played the ladder tour again with updated data, which fixed the previous anomalies. Okay. So then they go on to say Blue, Sangyun themselves, Nash, and Mija were the top 4 of this second ladder tour, which means they were secured day 2 invites. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, they had to show up at the Trainers Cup final round, which was a streamed match. It's just a final round that decides first to fourth with some nice prizes. But they're already locked into day 2, so not too much was at stake. But still, it's a fun way to get people in person. Like that part, I can, you know what? Not bad. Not terrible.
Doesn't actually matter who wins or loses, but come and play.
Get them all together. You guys are winners. Congratulations. Shake some hands, get some prizes, play a couple games of Pokemon. Not bad. Those 4 players decided to go and do a metronome battle. Mm-hmm. And this was done in protest of all of the issues within that community. Basically saying, none of this matters. We can just leave it up to random chance. And whatever, whoever wins. Congratulations.
Wow. They've really Katniss Everdeen that, huh?
Exactly.
That's legitimately what happened. Yeah, I'll play your game. Not your way, though.
Yeah. The issues within the community that he cites are no IRL events, constant problems with the tour system, disregarding younger divisions, absurd compensations for the problems they caused. But the real problem behind all this is that they showed absolute disrespect to the players. During that week, Pokemon Korea suddenly sent an email. I say suddenly, I shouldn't, you know what? I'm not going to paraphrase that. I am going to say it in a little bit more of a corporate way here. Pokemon Korea sent an email to Blue disqualifying him with no notice. When he called to ask them why, they refused to comment. They immediately gave his day 2 to the next person down, which was Batago. Batago agreed with the three other people who were not disqualified. So the metronome battle was to proceed. So I guess they caught wind that a metronome battle was going to happen, and then they disqualified one of them. They had to lock in on an in-game online tour system, kind of like we do with Arcanine beforehand. And so they did that the day before, which was the 2nd of June. They were supposed to battle on the 4th. On the 3rd, all 4 players were sent an email along with the notice on the official website and Pokemon Korea Inc., informing them that the 4 of them were disqualified. And the reason behind it was that they all locked in Pokemon that learned one specific move. Which, yes, that is a fact. They did that. According to Pokemon Korea, this falls under prohibited acts written below, which are an act of causing harm to other participants or giving an offensive image, and other actions that Nintendo Company Limited and TPC and its subsidiaries deem inappropriate. So they put it under their catch-all of, where we didn't like this, so we disqualified you.
I definitely understand the frustration of the players. I think at first glance, when most people hear about this story, they're like, they technically didn't do anything wrong. All the Pokemon on the team do learn metronome. They are completely legal Pokemon to use. And hey, if you do want to go in with a metronome team, you have the right to. I think the issue that stems here, though, and this is kind of me playing a little bit devil's advocate.
Do it.
I don't actually have one side or the other. I think there's always 2 sides to a story. But anyway, I think the reason why they went to such drastic measures, whether or not they were appropriate, the reason they went to such drastic measures is that this is technically a form of win trading.
Is absolutely win trading.
Which I kind of get. It's like you are going with the intent of selecting the 4 Pokemon that you are going to use against the opponents that you do. It even take away the metronome aspect to it, right? Take away that metronome aspect. If you tell your opponent, I am going to bring this, do the same thing. That's manipulating the outcome of the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, it could be said that groups of people go into regionals and nationals all the time being like, we're all going in with the same team. But that is a little different in that is a team that everybody has learned and
you don't know you're
agreed to play competitively and will go in like that. This one is almost disrespecting back, and it is warranted, I believe, that the 4 players felt slighted by the Pokemon Company, and so they brought a team that would kind of make that statement back at the Pokemon Company. But then the Pokemon Company was like, yeah, okay, but we're hosting you, so temper a little bit.
I by no means think that what I don't know who run. I guess it's a Pokemon Asia runs their circuit.
Yeah.
I by no means believe that they run the circuit accurately. I don't think they run it fairly. And this kind of makes it seem like, they have a lot of control over it. I agree. the I don't know. It's such an iffy topic to think of because both sides have a point.
Yeah.
And neither side is necessarily right. That's the way I feel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I get it.
A lot of things do need to change about the way that they handle the online circuit, the way that they handle Korea, the way that they handle Japan.
Absolutely. If your players have the need to do something like this, there is a problem. If your top players think that this is the solution, there is a serious problem that needs to get resolved.
Yeah.
That doesn't stem from just the players, stems from the organization and from the way that it's being run.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, I hope that something positive does come out of all of this.
If anything, they got a lot of wind of this. Even Beanie, you know, Beanie from Gravitation, he ran the Metronome team to Milwaukee because of this. He was
sure
like,
did.
Fine, here we go.
Yeah. I was thinking about playing it on the channel. But I think I thought different because I was like, you know what? It's going to be a loss if I do that. Like, it's just going to be 3 losses. And I don't know if
your goal is to get 1 KO
at that point is made. Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to knock out a Pokemon. Mm. Just trying to metronome a fissure. Here we go. Anyway, again, my hearts go out to the people who are disqualified. I don't think that you deserve to be disqualified. However, I
very
do
harsh
think
repercussions.
that, you know, you folks are very brave for having done what you did. And I hope that some rather serious change comes out of that because they highlighted a problem at the end of the day. They highlighted a problem, and that's important.
Yeah, things don't get done without people brave enough to do them. That's for sure.
Right.
And that's part of me. That's the Robin Hood part of me that said, yeah, go ahead. Screw them. But also at the same time, like, I feel like me as just like constantly resolving conflicts at work.
Sure.
Aren't there had to have been a way to just be like, look, or like give a warning. Look, if you guys are going to do this, we're going to disqualify you. Bring a real team or we're going to disqualify you. Like, you can't just do that.
It's the no warning that
just
is
be like,
kind of,
listen, we see what you guys are doing, but don't play.
Yeah.
Don't mess.
Yeah. Like they did want to stream it out. They did want to, make kind of a spectacle of it. And in the same right, like it was kind of denied of a lot of people who could have enjoyed this. However, not to say that people wouldn't have enjoyed a metronome battle.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah.
Just rolling a dice. See what happens.
Yeah, tough situation. Very tough situation for everybody.
Even hard to talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to
not even
down the middle. Yeah.
And it's not even that like we're trying to be careful with our words or anything. It's just like this is a very complicated situation. That like, yeah, I don't think that anybody is necessarily fully in the right or fully in the wrong. I think that there are a lot of moving parts to it that just need to be, put in a row before anything positive happens,
What do you guys think?
What do you think? Anyway, that's been the podcast. I hope you enjoyed. We didn't get to the question this week, but I will make sure that we get to it next week because we are over time.
Before we go, can I tell a story?
Tell a story.
Because if I don't tell a story, I feel like Bruno and Harrison are going to hate me forever. So
okay.
We were going to get dinner. There was a nice Korean place. Didn't have Korean barbecue. And the whole city of Milwaukee doesn't have Korean barbecue, by the way.
No.
But what they do have was bibimbap.
Oh, bibimbap.
And bulgogi and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so they had like actual like Korean food. So we're in an Uber to get Korean food. And the most wild Uber ride of my life. So we get picked up by an older gentleman, just like pitch black dyed hair, wearing a full suit in a fully blacked out giant car, like a GMC.
Okay.
And in the middle of the Uber ride, he takes out a lightsaber. And he starts talking about this cigar bar that we should go to that his buddy owns. And he takes out this lightsaber and then he turns it on. It's a propane lightsaber. So it's like to light cigars. So it goes, right? Little tiny flame. Like if this is the lightsaber, that's the flame. If you guys are watching the podcast, this is all in the car. And then he says, I also got this. Pulls out a pistol. And then turns it on. A giant flame comes out of it. It was also a lighter. And me, Harrison, and Bruno are just like this. There was just a fire in front of us in the front seat of an Uber.
Okay, so let me amend that a little bit because I think okay, wow. So first, he pulls out a lightsaber. It turns into fire. Yes. So now there's fire in this car.
Yes.
Then he pulls out a gun.
Yes.
And the gun turns into fire, which admittedly probably might have
been
brought
better
down the vibe a little bit.
But Mike, when I tell you, okay, so if this is the length of the flame, right?
Yep.
This fire was like up to here on the pistol. We had to open windows. It smelled like propane in the place.
Sure.
And then you know what he said after he did that? Might get in trouble for this one day. So that's my story. Have a great night, everybody.
Bye, folks.